Hello everyone. Thank you very much for watching Sigma Stage Online. I am Kazuya Maki, CEO of Sigma Corporation. Today, I'm very excited to introduce you a brand new lens from Sigma. What we are announcing today is Sigma 35mm f1.4 DG DN Art. It's a DG DN lens, so it's designed for full-frame mirrorless cameras. This lens will be available for L mount and for Sony E mount. As you may be aware, in our current lineup, we already have 35mm f1.4 DG HSM Art. This lens was originally designed for DSLRs and modified to fit mirrorless cameras. But the new 35mm f1.4 DG DN Art is designed from ground up for mirrorless cameras. The existing 35mm f1.4 DG HSM Art was introduced to the market in 2012 and actually was our first art lens we ever released. The debut of this 35mm was sensational because the optical performance was far beyond any other prime lenses in its class at that time. Many photographers were blown away by its amazing picture quality they achieved with the combination of the super high resolution camera and the ultra high performance lens. This 35mm f1.4 DG HSM Art is still one of the top performing lenses in its class and very popular product in our lineup. The optical performance of the new 35mm f1.4 DG DN Art has been improved using the latest advanced imaging technology. Here's what's new and updated on the new 35mm f1.4 compared with the existing 35mm f1.4. First, enhanced optical quality. Second, compact body. Third, fast and quiet AF. And finally, it's equipped with several new features, which I will explain more in detail shortly. So let's take a look at these improvements one by one. First one is the enhanced optical quality, and this is a lens construction of the new 35mm f1.4 DG DN. In order to achieve even better optical performance, this lens uses several high-performance glass elements, including two SLD elements, which are shown in blue here, the one ELD elements in green, and one FLD elements in yellow, and the two aspherical elements, which are shown with a red edge line. Here's MTF curves of the new 35mm f1.4 DG DN Art and existing 35mm f1.4 DG HSM Art. How to read MTF charts. The vertical axis shows the optical performance, and the horizontal axis shows the image height. The left-hand side shows the center of the frame, and the right-hand side shows the edge of the frame. So the higher the curves, the better the optical performance. As you can see in these MTF charts, both lenses have the superb optical performance, but the new 35mm f1.4 DG DN Art is better in the periphery of the frame. The new 35mm f1.4 and existing 35mm f1.4 were designed by the same optical designer. That's why both lenses have the superb optical performance, but that optical designer could improve the longitudinal chromatic aberration on the new 35mm. The longitudinal chromatic aberration is the color fringes which occurs in the longitudinal direction along the optical axis. This is an image taken with the new 35mm f1.4, and as you can see here, the chromatic aberration is well controlled on the new 35mm f1.4. Another improvement is the sagittal coma flare. Sagittal coma flare is an optical imperfection which often seen at wider apertures in the edges of the frame, where the bright points of light bleed outwards into the shape of the bird's wings. These are the cropped images from the edges of the starry photos taken with new 35mm f1.4 and existing 35mm f1.4. As you can see here clearly, the new 35mm f1.4 suppresses the sagittal coma flare very well. I'm sure that those who shoot astrophotography will be very happy with this performance. The suppression of the sagittal coma flare also helps make bokeh smoother and more attractive. As you can see in this sample image, you can expect the very soft, nice bokeh in the back and also in the front. With regard to the image quality, the suppression of the ghosting is also important. Mainly, there are two causes of the ghosting. One is reflection from the internal mechanical parts. The second is from the reflection between the glass elements. Sigma has developed our own program that allows us to simulate ghosting. So once the new lens design work starts, our specialist ghosting team work with an optical designer and mechanical designers from the very early stage of the design process to simulate ghosting. And during the simulation, if they find the causes of the ghosting, they advise optical designer and the mechanical designers to change the design to eliminate the ghosting. This is a simulation of the ghosting caused by the reflection from the internal mechanical parts. If they find the causes of the reflection, ghosting, they advise mechanical designer to change the shape of the design. This is a simulation of the ghosting caused by the reflection between the lens elements. And in the very early stage of the design of this 35mm, they found the ghosting in the image. So they advised the optical designer to change the design, and they successfully eliminated ghosting, as shown in the images below. So in the design stage, by simulating ghosting, they could successfully eliminate the ghosting, but the work doesn't stop there. Once we make prototypes and pre-production models, they carefully test the lenses with a wide variety of angle lights to check the ghosting. For this 35mm f1.4 DG DN Art, they shot more than 3,000 to check ghosting. Thanks to their great work, you can expect a very high contrast image even in a very difficult shooting condition. Now, I'd like to share with you the sample images taken with the new 35mm f1.4 DG DN Art. The first group of pictures were taken by Alina Chesler, a German photographer. She has been using our existing 35mm f1.4 DG HSM Art, and she loves it. But this time, she tried the new 35mm f1.4 DG DN Art, and she was very impressed by the even better optical quality and the compact body and much faster autofocusing. As you can see in these sample images, the new 35mm f1.4 can create the very sharp and very high contrast image with the fine details. Also, this lens delivers the very soft, nice bokeh in the back and also in the front. The second group of pictures were taken by French photographer Nicolas Datiche. Now he based in Tokyo, Japan, so he took the new 35mm and visited the washi workshop. Washi is a traditional Japanese handmade paper, and his intention was to shoot the washi artisans at the workshop. Thanks to the compact body, he could capture the artisans at the workshop without any problems. And also, large aperture f1.4 helps the subject isolate from the background and he could create a very impressive images like this with nice soft bokeh. He also likes the close focusing capability of this lens. With this capability, he could create the very impressive images of nice washi without any chromatic aberration. The last group of pictures were taken by American photographer Jack Fusco, who based in California. This time he took the new 35mm and visited the Death Valley to shoot the astrophotography. As I mentioned earlier, this 35mm is suitable for astrophotography because this lens suppresses the sagittal coma flare very well. Jack normally used the super wide angle lens such as Sigma 14mm f1.8, but this time he was very happy with the result taken with the new 35mm f1.4. He could create a very impressive and stunning astrophotography like this. We have more sample images, more beautiful sample images on our website. So please visit our sample gallery at our website together with the comments from the professional photographers. The next feature of the new 35mm that I want to share with you is a compact body. The new 35mm f1.4 DG DN Art is smaller than the existing 35mm f1.4 DG HSM Art. The length of the new 35mm is 109.5mm for L mount, while the existing 35mm is 118mm. The maximum diameter is 75.5mm and the weight is 645 grams, which is more than 100 grams lighter than the existing 35mm. So the new 35mm achieves the superb optical performance in a compact body. This was achieved on the back of the development of the very successful 85mm f1.4 DG DN Art, which also offers the excellent image quality in a very small form factor. We learned a lot of lessons from developing this 85mm, which we were able to employ when creating the new 35mm. This 85mm f1.4 DG DN Art and new 35mm f1.4 DG DN Art were developed by the same design team, same optical designer and same mechanical designers. So they shared a very successful experience when developing the 85mm f1.4, and they could utilize that experience when creating this new 35mm. Actually, They have been working together almost 10 years, and these are the lenses they developed together during this period. 35mm f1.4 DG HSM Art, 18-35 f1.8 DC HSM Art, 14-24 f2.8 DG HSM Art, 14-24 f2.8 DG DN Art, and 85mm f1.4 DG DN Art. They know each other very well and share the same goal to make truly high-quality lens. So, this new 35mm f1.4 DG DN Art is a testament to their hard work and ingenuity. In order to achieve such a high optical performance in a compact body, the support of the factory staff was also important. Without the capability creating every single part with very tight tolerances, we could not have made such a high-quality lens. I guarantee that every single lens we make are produced in our own factory at Aizu, where we adhere to the strictest quality control standards. The next feature of the new 35mm is a fast and quiet AF. This is a focusing unit of the new 35mm, and only one lens element controls the focusing. So this keeps the lens focusing very lightweight, and this allows focusing very fast and quiet, both in AFS and AFC modes. This is a video that shows the focusing speed. As you can see, it's very fast and tracks the subject accurately and consistently. Finally, this lens is equipped with several new features compared to the existing 35mm. First, it features dust and splash-proof structure, and the front element features water and oil repellent coating. This lens features the aperture ring and aperture ring lock switch. With this switch, you can lock the aperture ring at auto position or set it between f1.4 and f16. This lens also features aperture ring click switch. With this switch, you can declick the aperture ring, which is very useful when shooting video. This lens also features AF lock button. By holding down this button, you can lock the focus, or you can set in a custom function on the Sony E-mount body. This lens also features focus mode switch, and the lens hood locks in position. So this is a new and updated on the new 35mm f1.4 DG DN compared to the existing 35mm DG HSM Art. At the same focal length, we have 35mm f1.2 DG DN Art and 35mm f2 DG DN Contemporary. So with the introduction of the 35mm f1.4 DG DN Art, we have 3 large aperture 35mm for full-frame mirrorless cameras. For those who need a very shallow depth of field, I recommend 35mm f1.2 DG DN Art. For those who need shallow depth of field and a compact body, I recommend 35mm f1.4 DG DN Art. For those who prioritize the exceptional portability, I recommend 35mm f2 DG DN Contemporary. I hope you can find the best large aperture 35mm for your photographic style. The last but not least, The price of this lens is $899 or 849 euro or 749 pound. This lens will be available next month, May 14th. Thank you very much for watching my presentation. This is all from me. I hope this brand new 35mm f1.4 DG DN Art helps you find the new photographic opportunities. Thank you very much.